Hi guys, welcome back to another video. It's me again, it's Dems again. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, and wherever you are watching this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another video, guys. Just want to say, guys, if you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you guys so much for being a part of this awesome community. You guys are awesome, and your presence is also welcomed. What we will be talking about today, guys, in today's video, guys, I will be giving you guys a guide, a step-by-step kind of like module, how to apply for your spouse open work permit as an international student in Canada, guys. If you are interested in this kind of content, guys, definitely hit that subscribe button, guys. Definitely like the video, leave a comment, and share the video so that other persons can benefit from this information. All right, guys, let's get right into it. So you are thinking of coming to Canada, you are married or you are not married, you have a common law spouse, and you want to be able to take your spouse and possibly children with you when you come to Canada. How do you do it, guys? So there are more than one ways to do it, right? Now, I'm going to tell you the ways you can do it, and then I'll tell you the way that I suggest you should do it, if that makes sense. Yeah, let's get into it, guys. So, first thing I'd like you guys to know is, as an international student, it is possible for you to take your spouse with you while you study. Spouse and dependent children, right? Who's a dependent children varies from province to province. So some provinces observe dependents as kids under 18, some view dependents as kids under 19, and some view dependents as kids under 22 as long as you're not working. It depends on the province that you guys are thinking of going. You are definitely able to take your spouse and your kids. And I'd argue and say that Canada almost wants you to take your family with you, because Canada is a family-oriented country that focuses on, the growth and development and stability of family. So definitely it is possible. Now, guys, there are two ways. When you apply for a study permit to study in Canada, you can also include your spouse and dependent children's and application, a part of your application as well, right? So you can do it together, in other words. So in order to do it together, all you need to do is the same documentation that you need. Hopefully you guys watch the previous video that I did, that I gave you guys a step-by-step guide in applying for a study permit. The same thing that you do based on the tips that I said in that video, you do the very same thing. The only difference is now, guys, you will be saying that you will be going with your family. Now, you would have to do a number of different things that you wouldn't necessarily have to do if it is that you were applying by yourself. Now, you would have to get additional documentation. The same GC key account that you have created, it would ask you some questions when you are deciding to apply. And one of those questions is if anybody will be joining you in Canada. You would select yes. And then, of course, your checklist would now include documentation and an application form that your spouse and kids would need to fill out in order to be able to join you in Canada. Now, you follow the steps, you bring it to the GCK account, and definitely, if you don't know what a GCK account is, you should definitely go and watch my previous video where I break it down for you guys so you can understand what it is. So you are in your GCK account, it gave you a checklist, which of course comprise of both your checklist and now your spouse's checklist. You're gonna have to ask to submit, most importantly, a marriage certificate. If you are not married, you will have to submit what is called a common law declaration form, and it has to be notarized by a notary public. In different countries, a notary public is known as different things, right? But everyone knows what a notary public is. You'd have to definitely get that notarized as well to show validity. Now, you also have to show proof of relationship outside of a marriage certificate and a common law declaration. And proof of relationship can vary from different things based on the individuals. One of the things you can use as proof of relationship, guys, is of course joint bank statements, life insurance with each other being the beneficiary, joint bills. If it is that you guys pay bills together, you can have a case where both persons are on it. You can show a utility bill. You can show assets if you guys have any assets together and stuff. You have to show proof of relationship. In addition to proof of relationship, in your LOE, you have to include, as a student, the student has to include why they want their spouse to be able to join them in Canada. And also the spouse has to write a letter. Now, it's not a requirement that these things are done, but it's an expectation, if it makes sense. So in your checklist, you're not going to see these things broken down word for word, but it is an expectation that these things are there because these are some of the stuff that they're looking for. Now, your spouse has to also write a letter stating why they want to be able to join you in Canada. And it's very important, guys, that these letters are heartfelt, not only heartfelt, but real and true and authentic and genuine and written in your own words. And it's not scripted and stereotyped and pretty much just cliche. And no, it has to be real, authentic, emotional, come from a place of authenticity so that a visa officer can pretty much feel a love. And then definitely that will go a far way in determining whether or not your spouse is able to join you and your kids is able to join you or not. In addition to that, guys, your spouse, if they are employed, has to provide financial documentation as well. They have to be able to show a job letter, pay slip, and also, guys, if it is that you're going to be applying for your spouse together when you're applying for your study permit, you're going to have to show more money, guys. Now, how much money do you need to show? Now, IRCC has updated their website to say that living expense per person, per student, is $12,000. Now, this $12,000, guys, is not including your tuition, airfare, or any other miscellaneous, which might include health insurance and stuff, books, and other things like that. It's not including that. So I always say, okay, then turn that 12,000 into probably 15,000, different from your tuition. And then, in addition to that, it is anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000 per person who is going to be joining you. So if it is that you have to show 15,000 Canadians for yourself, different from your tuition, obviously you guys would have watched the other video before, you're going to definitely have to show an additional between $4,000 to $6,000 per additional person. So for your spouse, that's probably, argument's sake, $5,000. That right there is $20,000. If you have kids, that's an additional 4 or 5 pretty much. And you know, the more kids, the more money. So you're looking at a rough estimate of 25,000 Canadian dollars in order for you guys all to apply together. Now, guys, this is a disclaimer. I am not an immigration consultant. This is information that is based on my own experience that I've gone through the process, and I've spoken to lots of people who has been through the process. Now, guys, I am in the quest of becoming an immigration consultant. Of course, you guys know this. If you want to support that dream, there's a GoFundMe link right down below. If you want to support me, you can definitely go ahead and click on that link and definitely show some love in my direction. And then I would not only be able to give you guys more accurate and factual information, but also be able to assist you more with your process. Now, guys, that is if you are applying together. Now, the other way you can do it is the student applies first for their study permit. When that student is approved, then you can apply for the spousal open work permit. The spousal open work permit, guys, I probably should have explained what it is because I'm not going to assume that everybody know what it is. The spousal open work permit is an open work permit that allows an individual, in this case, the spouse of a student, to work in Canada for any employer and no hours restricted. As an international student yourself, you are only allowed, permitted, not allowed, but permitted to work 20 hours per week when school is in session, unless you work on campus when there is no real hours requirement. But if you are working off campus, you are only expected to work 20 hours per week when school is in session. No, when school is not in session, you can work as much as you can physically afford to. And also, if it is that you are lucky enough to get a job on campus, even when school is in session, there's no limit onto the amount of hours that you can work. That's very important as well. No, the spouse doesn't go by the same requirements and permittedness and all of that. The spousal open work permit is an open work permit that allows them to work with any employer in Canada, outside of the fact that it's not sexual exploitation, unless they do a medical, them can't work in the healthcare and stuff like that. But generally speaking, any employer. Right. Now, that is what a spousal open work permit is. You have applied for your study permit, you have gotten approval. When you have gotten approval, then you can apply for your spouse and dependent children if you want to. And how you do that, you just go back in a same GCK account, go back to the same GCK account, you go through the questions, but this time, guys, it's actually the spouse who's creating a GCK account. The spouse is going to go through and answer the questions. Why you want to come to Canada? Work. Are you the spouse of an international student? Yes. Answer the questions, and then it's going to give the spouse a checklist, which include an application form and all the checklists that person have to do, right? Follow the checklist, but bear in mind, again, there are also things that are expected that are not on the checklist, including the spouse need a police certificate, the spouse need a letter to say why, and you also have to write back that letter. The very same thing that you do if it is that you are applying together, you put it here in terms that you show proof of relationship outside of a marriage certificate and a common law declaration, which is also expected. You also want to show utility bills and stuff like that. Now, because you're not applying together, you don't need to show as much money as what you would need to show if it is that you're applying together. Now, all the spouse has to do is to show at least $12,000 in their account, because the financial requirement is less, and it can be even less than the $12,000. I'm just quoting a figure right here, guys. The financial requirement is less, and the reason why it is less, guys, is because you are coming to Canada to work. And because you're coming to Canada to work, they understand this, so they are not really pressuring as it relates to the amount of money. However, guys, it's very important to note that you have to show some level of income money just in case you're not able to get a job immediately. So I would say show probably around $7,000, anywhere above that, but not really below that, just in case you are not successful in getting a job immediately, because it's very expensive to live in Canada, and definitely you're going to need money in order to survive. So you guys want to definitely consider that as well. Now, there's a third option, guys, that you can also apply for a spouse. And I'm probably going a little bit too fast, guys, but if it is that you're applying for dependent children, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is to answer the questions that says, well, our dependent children will be accompanying the spouse to Canada. Answer yes. They just give you literally an application form for the kids and their birth certificate and passport. That's all they need. They don't need nothing else. So if it is that you are applying for your spouse, you can put your dependent children on your spouse's application, but apply for yourself at first. And if you're applying for everybody, then you can put everybody on the same application as well. Now, there's a third way to do it, guys. And a lot of persons do this. However, what I would like you guys to know is that because of COVID, this only applies to a certain country, to certain countries. I think only a few countries are able to do this right now, and most of the countries in the world are not even in this list. Now, a lot of persons already have a Canadian visa. So what a lot of persons do is the student apply, they get approved, and then they travel together as a family. The other family member would travel on their visitor's visa, and then when they get to the port of entry, then they would apply for the spousal open work permit and the visitor records for the kids. However, guys, this is not something that is available right now because of COVID, unless you are in one of the few countries. I'll probably find it and put it in the video, or probably not. You guys can definitely go and research it. It is not something that is available anymore. So please, guys, you want to definitely take that into consideration. If you come into Canada as a visitor on a visitor visa, you are gonna have to apply for your spousal open work permit through your GCK account, just as what you would have done in your home country, sir. And it doesn't make a difference that you are already in Canada. That's very, very important. If it is, guys, also that you do not have a visitor's visa and you apply for a spousal open work permit, you do not need to apply for a visitor's visa. Once you are approved, you will be granted a work visa, which goes for the length of time as your work permit. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I could take a little break. That was like a lot of information. Hope you guys are still with me, by the way. If you guys have any questions, you guys can definitely just drop it in the chat right down below. At this point in time, make sure that you guys have given this video a big thumbs up, and definitely subscribe if you're new, and share the video on all platforms so that persons who want to know this information can get this information. Alright, guys? Now, I did promise you guys that I would tell you which one of these methods of applying for your spousal open work permit I think is better. Now, up to operative word is think. This is my opinion. This is 100% my opinion. This is what I did, and this is what a lot of person has done. What I suggest is for the student to apply for their study permit first. And then once it is approved, they can then apply for the spousal work permit or for their kids to come to Canada as well. Right? Now, if this is done in a timely manner, everybody can still travel together to Canada. And the reason why I suggest this method, guys, is because IRCC, for some strange reason, refuses a lot of application when persons apply together for a number of reasons. One, there's not enough home ties, because ultimately your family is your strongest home tie. When you apply as a student first, you can use your family as a home tie. But when you apply together, you can't use your family as a home tie. So a common refusal is you are not going to be returning to your home country because of family ties in Canada and in your home country. So that's a common refusal. Also, there's insufficient funds because of the amount of persons in the application. There's not enough money to cover everybody's living expenses. So there's insufficient funds to fund your course, your studies in Canada. There are so many other ways, right? And these are some common refusals as well, guys. So I suggest that you do it one and then the other to reduce the risk of those. A lot of persons will tell you that, listen, apply individually because you have a greater chance of becoming approved. It doesn't mean that if you apply together, you can't get approved. It's a numbers game. There are a lot of persons who apply together. So I don't want anybody to watch this video and then say, oh, I know somebody who applied together and they get through. But they are like one in a lot. There's a greater chance for the student applying first and then for the spouse and other persons to apply afterwards. Now, guys, this is something that has been proven over and over and over. I can't say exactly why, but that's just my opinion, and that's what I suggest you do. You're not going to be losing anything, really. Everybody's going to be able to travel together anyway. All right? And then definitely, guys, you are going to require to show less money. You're going to have a stronger ties, and then your application will be processed from a totally different angle, right? And oftentimes that way, as long as the student is approved, then the spouse has a greater chance of getting approved. But when you apply everything together, that put even the student's application at a burden, because the student application is then now processed and compared in line with the fact that they have a spouse and kids attached to it as well. So if the student get disapproved or denied or refused, the spouse get refused and the kids get refused as well. So I would suggest that you guys definitely do the student visa first, get approved, and then you do the other one. Now again, guys, as I'd like to say, I do not work with immigration. I'm not a consultant. This is just my opinion based on my own experience and experiences of a lot more others than just myself. Now, guys, of course, you know, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and leave a comment. Alright, guys, there are tons of links down in the GoFundMe. If you want to support this movement, if you want to support this community, guys, if you like what we are doing, share the content and check out the links in the GoFundMe and show some love in our direction. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, Dems out. See you later.